The alley was dark, the kind of forgotten corner of the city where silence felt heavy. Rainwater dripped from the broken roofs, collecting in shallow puddles. Most people would hurry past without looking twice. But tonight, something stopped Ayan Malik in his tracks. A small voice. Soft. Trembling. Sir. Mommy can't walk. Ayan turned sharply. A little girl stood in the shadows, no more than 6, her tiny hands clutching a torn pink backpack. Her eyes glistened with tears she refused to let fall. Behind her, half hidden by cardboard boxes, lay a woman, pale, exhausted, and barely conscious. For a moment, Ayan forgot he was a CEO, forgot he was running late for an important investor call, forgot every meeting lined up on his schedule. The only thing he saw was fear on a child's face. He lowered himself to her height. "What's your name?" he asked. "My name is Mira," she whispered. "Please help." Mommy tried to stand earlier but she fell again. Ayan's heartbeat tightened. Without hesitating, he stepped into the alley and knelt beside the woman. Her breathing was shallow. Her legs were swollen, and her ankle looked twisted at an odd angle. "How long has she been like this?" he asked. "Since yesterday," Mira answered, hugging herself. "I tried calling for help, but people walked away." Ayan clenched his jaw. He gently slid his arms under the woman, Myra's mother, whose name he later learned was Hania, and lifted her as if she weighed nothing. Mira walked beside him, holding her mother's hand the whole way. He didn't know who they were. He didn't know why they were alone. But he knew one thing: he wouldn't abandon them. At the hospital, doctors rushed Hania into the emergency room. Mira clung to Ayan's sleeve, her voice shaking. "Is she going to be okay?" Ayan placed a protective hand on her shoulder. "She will be. I promise." It was the same tone he used to use with his own daughter, Aira, before she passed away 3 years ago. The memory hit him hard. The hospital smell always brought it back, but tonight, for the first time, he didn't feel like running away from it. After an hour, a doctor approached them. "She has a severe ankle fracture and extreme exhaustion," the doctor said. "Malnutrition didn't help. She'll need surgery, and time to rest." "Do it," Ayan said immediately. The doctor blinked. "Sir, the costs." "I said do it." Mira looked up at him as if he had just handed her the world. The truth reveals itself. When Hania woke after surgery, she found Mira asleep on a couch and Ayan sitting in a chair beside her. You helped us," she asked, her voice weak. "You needed it," Ayan replied simply. Hania's eyes filled with tears. "I lost my job a month ago. The landlord threw us out 2 days back. I tried to find shelter, but then I fell. I didn't want Mira to worry." Ayan shook his head. "She's stronger than you think. She never left your side." Hania glanced at her daughter, brushing her hair gently. "I just wanted to protect her from everything. But I failed." "You didn't fail," Ayan said quietly. "You survived. That's the hardest part." She stared at him. "Why are you helping us? You don't even know us." Ayan looked down at his hands. "Someone once helped me when I couldn't help myself. I'm just passing it on." Challenges they faced. The days that followed weren't easy. For Hania, recovering from surgery meant she couldn't work. She constantly worried about becoming a burden. Her pride made it hard to accept kindness. For Mira, she feared that every hospital door opening meant someone was coming to take her away from her mother. For Ayan, helping them stirred memories he tried hard to bury. His daughter's laughter. His late wife's voice. The quiet, painful emptiness he carried every day. But somehow, the three of them learned to navigate the challenges together. Ayan visited daily. He brought food, toys, and books for Mira, pretending it was nothing. Mira followed him everywhere like a little shadow, calling him Uncle Ayan before he could stop her. And Hania, slowly healing, began to look at him with gratitude, and something she tried not to name. A turning point. One afternoon, during physiotherapy, Hania fell trying to take her first steps. Pain shot through her leg, and her emotions collapsed with it. "I can't do this," she cried softly. "I can't even walk properly." How am I supposed to take care of my daughter? I'm useless. Ayan immediately knelt beside her. Don't ever say that again. Tears streamed down her face. It's true. I've given Mira nothing but hardship. Ayan gently wiped her tears with his thumb, surprising even himself. You gave her love. And strength. And hope. That's more than most people ever get. You just need a little help right now. Let someone help you. She stared at him, overwhelmed. Why do you care so much? Ayan didn't answer at first. Then he said quietly, because someone like you once saved me when I was drowning. It was the most he had spoken about his past in years. A new beginning. After weeks of recovery, Hania finally walked again, slowly, carefully, with Mira cheering each step. When she was discharged, she expected Ayan to drop them off at a shelter or a temporary home. Instead, he drove them to a small, warm apartment he had prepared. What is this? She breathed. A place for you two until you get on your feet, he said. It's safe. And close to my office so I can check on Mira when you go to interviews. Hania shook her head. Ayan, this is too much. It's not enough, he replied gently. Her eyes filled again. I don't know how to thank you. You don't have to. But she wanted to. Healing hearts. Over the next months, Hania found a stable job. Mira entered a good school. Ayan rediscovered laughter, real laughter, thanks to the little girl who insisted he join her for tea parties and story time. Their lives began to intertwine in ways none of them expected. One evening, after dinner, Mira slipped her hand into Ayan's and said softly, Uncle, can you stay with us always? Ayan felt his chest tighten. It was the same question his daughter used to ask. He looked at Hania. She looked back, hoping, afraid, and grateful all at once. I think, Ayan said slowly, I'd like that. The message. By helping a stranger, Ayan healed wounds he thought would last forever. By accepting help, Hania rebuilt her life with dignity and courage. And Mira, the little girl who stood bravely in a dark alley, became the light that brought two broken souls back to life. Because sometimes, the family you need is the one life brings to you unexpectedly. And kindness, even one moment of it, can change everything. Morning sunlight filtered into the small apartment, painting the living room in soft gold. Hania stood by the kitchen counter, wobbling slightly as she poured tea. Her legs still hurt sometimes, but she was far stronger than before. Mira sat cross-legged on the couch, singing to her stuffed rabbit. A knock sounded at the door. Myra's eyes lit up instantly. Uncle Ayan. Before Hania could react, the little girl sprinted to the door and pulled it open. Ayan stepped inside with a warm smile, holding a small paper bag. You're early, Hania said, trying not to sound too pleased. Investor meeting was cancelled, he replied. Thought I'd bring breakfast. Mira jumped up to him. What did you bring? What did you bring? He chuckled. Paradats and halwa. Your favorite. Mira grabbed the bag like it held treasure, then dashed to the table. Hania shook her head. You're spoiling her, she murmured. Maybe I like spoiling her, he said quietly. Hania froze for a moment at the softness in his voice. The unexpected question. They sat together for breakfast, and for the first time in years, Ayan felt like part of something warm. Mira talked endlessly, about school, about the girl who braided her hair too tight, about the drawing she made of 3 people holding hands. 3 people? Ayan asked. Mira nodded proudly. Yes. Me, Mommy, and you. Ayan blinked. Something inside his chest twisted. Hania's hand paused midair. Mira leaned closer to Ayan, her big eyes full of innocence. Uncle, are you my dad now? The world seemed to freeze. Hania gasped softly, her face turning red with embarrassment. Mira, love, don't say things like that. Ayan placed a gentle hand on Mira's head. I'm not your dad, sweetheart, he said softly. But I care about you. Very, very much. Mira looked confused for a moment, then nodded. Okay, but can you stay with us forever like dads do? Hania opened her mouth to stop her, but Ayan touched her arm subtly, shaking his head. He knelt down to Myra's eye level. "I'll stay as long as you want me to," he promised. The smile Myra gave him could have melted anyone. But the look Hania gave him, shy, emotional, uncertain, struck him even deeper. A quiet struggle. Later, when Myra was busy coloring, Hania gently approached Ayan near the window. "You know she's getting attached," she whispered. "I don't want her heart to break." Ayan looked out over the city. "I don't want that either." "Ayan," she said carefully, "you've already done more than anyone ever has for us. You owe us nothing." His jaw tightened. "You think that's why I'm here? Because I owe you something?" Hania's breath caught. "Then why are you here?" "For the first time in years," he said slowly, "I feel like I belong somewhere." She swallowed hard. "Ayan." He looked at her, really looked at her, the woman who had survived storms, protected her child, stood back up every time life pushed her down. "You and Myra pulled me out of a place I didn't even know I was stuck in," he said. "Maybe I'm the one who owes you." Her eyes softened. "You don't have to carry us. I don't want that for you." "I'm not carrying you," he said quietly. "I'm standing with you." Something inside Hania finally loosened, fear, maybe. Guilt. Maybe even loneliness. A challenge ahead. Just as things began to feel peaceful, life decided to test them. One evening, while Ayan was helping Myra with homework, Hania received a call from her new manager. Her face went pale. "Ayan, they're cutting the team. I lost my job." Myra looked up, worried. "Mommy." Hania forced a smile. "It's fine, baby. Mommy will find another job." But the truth was written all over her face. The rent, groceries, Myra's school fees, everything crashed over her like a wave. Ayan stood from the couch. "Hania, it's okay. I'll help." "No," she said firmly. "I can't take more from you. Hania. I don't want to depend on you. I don't want you to feel stuck with us." Ayan stared at her in disbelief. "You think I'm here out of pity?" She looked down. "You're a CEO, Ayan. Your world is different. One day you'll realize we don't fit in it." Ayan felt anger, raw, frustrated, desperate. "You fit," he said sharply. "Both of you fit exactly where I want you." Hania turned away, fighting tears. Myra's wisdom. The tension was thick. Myra sensed it immediately. She walked over and took both their hands, placing them together. "Don't fight," she said softly. "We're supposed to be a team." Ayan looked at Hania. Hania looked at him. And suddenly, everything felt fragile. Ayan knelt and pulled Myra close. "We're not fighting, princess. We're just talking." Hania watched them, her heart aching. She had been alone for so long that she didn't know how to accept someone fighting for her. When Myra went to bed, Ayan and Hania sat in silence. Finally, Ayan said, "Let me help you find something better. Not because you need me, but because I want to." Hania closed her eyes. "I'm afraid, Ayan." "Of what?" "Of getting used to you." His voice dropped to a whisper. "Maybe it's okay to get used to someone who won't leave." She looked at him, really looked, and for the first time, she didn't look away. A moment that changed everything. When Ayan stood to leave, Myra sleepily wandered out of her room. "Uncle," she mumbled, "don't go. Please stay. If you leave, Mommy will cry." Hania froze. Ayan's heart cracked. He walked back and placed a gentle hand on the little girl's head. "I'm not going anywhere," he whispered. He looked at Hania, and she nodded slowly, silently, accepting what her daughter already knew. In that moment, something shifted. Not spoken, not promised, just felt. A beginning. A chance. A fragile thread forming between three hearts. A family, slowly stitching itself together.